So I read this blog called markandangel.com, Mark and Angel Hack Life, and I read a recent article, something about along the lines of how to make the world a better place. So it was an interesting article. The headline caught my attention, but the idea behind the blog post was talking about the romance bubble that bursts in life. And so the example they cited was, picture a young couple that gets together and everything's hitting off, and the romance is there, and they're really into the relationship, and things are amazing at the beginning, but at some point something happens where one person, or maybe both people, realize that the other person doesn't like the same kind of music, or doesn't like to go to the same kind of restaurants, or there's some little piece that makes that connection kind of fizzle a little bit. Doesn't mean the relationship's going to end, but they realize that the perfectness of that beginning of that relationship has now kind of died down. And these things happen in relationships, and the true relationships that last require work, and require that you see through those things and you work on the things that are common, and all these things that happen in relationships and in all parts of life. But it got me thinking about business, because as soon as I read the article, I was thinking, this is exactly what happened to me when I first went into entrepreneurship. I left the corporate world, and actually, while I was still in the corporate world, I was starting my business, and I was so enthusiastic, so excited about everything I was doing. It was so new, right? Just like when you're in a new relationship. And you get that boost of energy, and for me it lasted for like 8 or 9 months, where I was just going nonstop. I was never tired. I was always enthusiastic and pumped up. And I guess just the life hadn't beat me down yet. The entrepreneurship game hadn't hit me yet, and so everything was just so cool. And now now it's almost 3 years later, and I've been through some of those low points, and I've been through some of those real deep valleys that can really test your persistence and test, like, is this something I really want to do? Because as we all know, entrepreneurship isn't for everybody. So the way the article was stated was like, that's exactly what happens in business. And so if you're an entrepreneur and you're just getting started, I want to warn you and caution you about this kind of romance bubble that will probably burst somewhere along your journey. It's never that easy. So you have to be prepared for the ups and downs of it. But understand that if you're doing something, if you're in a business right now, hopefully you've picked something that you're totally passionate about, and that most importantly, that you believe in, then understanding that this romance bubble will burst, and you will have these hills and valleys, you can work through it, and you can work on little successes. Just get tiny little wins that you can focus on, so that when the times get a little tougher, you can go back and remember some of these things you've done, but at the same time, give yourself the reassurance that I'm on the right track, and I'm willing to put in the work. Just like a couple who's been married for 50 years, I'm sure it hasn't been rosy that whole time. They've had to put some work into it. Well, the same thing goes for you in business and being an entrepreneur. So I really like the article. I'm going to post a link to it so you can have a read for yourself. It's a great personal development blog at markandangel.com, and I thank them for giving me inspiration to talk about this blog post today. So I hope you liked it, and I look forward to your feedback.